Thursday, October 17th. We've got a jam-packed slate in the NHL, and I've got my 5 best bets for you. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Karan Thacker, and we've got 5 NHL best bets lined up for Thursday, October 17th, in what is a loaded slate in the NHL. It's been a while since the last video, so I do appreciate the patience from you guys as we continue to get our NHL schedule consistent here at Just a Bet Outside. But before we get into it, let's do a quick recap on how we're doing this year. We are an overall 29 and 32 this year, and we're currently sitting at minus 4.9 units, which is not where we want to be. We did go on a super cold streak after the last video was put out, where like nothing was hitting for 7 or 8 straight bets, and it dragged down our net profit quite a bit. So that cold streak had our overall record sitting at 11 and 21, which is a season low. But since then, we've gone 18 and 11. So we're already steadying the ship, and we're going to continue to get back into that green column. And if you look at the record, even prior to that cold streak, we were doing quite well. So yeah, just going to put that cold streak aside. It is obviously a part of the record. It is part of our official data that we have accumulated thus far. But I'm going to look at the positives. I'm going to look at the data and how we've done outside of that cold streak, both before and after. And we can clearly see that we're back in the right direction to get in the green here. So just a reminder, this is exactly why we're doing half a unit and quarter unit plays to start. We're going to continue to let the data gather and settle down before we jump into the 1 unit plays. And once we get there, a single 5-0 sweep like we've already had twice this year, that gets us right back into the green. So I have no doubt in my mind that by the end of the NHL season, we're going to be well in the profits. But at the same time, there's 2 things that I want to keep in mind. One is I don't want to dig a huge hole that we can't get ourselves out of, which we're not in this case. We're good. We can more than easily climb out of this. And then the second thing is my main objective here is to give you guys the information on games to help you with your own bets. Whether you want to tail me, whether you want to fade me, or whether you want to take this info and put it in your own, parlays or straights or whatever it may be. I'm cool with that. As long as we're all winning, I'm happy on my end. Also, don't forget to check out Steven's Thursday night football video. We got Sean Payton making his return to the Superdome in New Orleans. That will be very good television. And for you baseball fans, the ALCS and NLCS are in full swing. There's a nice doubleheader tomorrow with the Yankees up 2-0 going to Cleveland for Game 3. And the Dodgers and the Mets duking it out in Game 4 in New York. So Steven's got you covered for both of those as well. And lastly, guys, before we get into the best bets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Your support goes a long, long way in helping this channel grow. And if you want to chat more hockey, why not hop in the Discord? It is free. It's a good time. It's a really positive community in there. A lot of sharp people that are, sending out bets, parlays, whether it's point total parlays or shots on goal parlays. And a lot of those are hitting. So if you want to just chat and have a good time and maybe throw some bets in, why not hop in the Discord if you haven't already? For our first bet, starting with the New Jersey Devils visiting the Ottawa Senators in the Canadian capital. Last year, these 2 teams played each other 3 times head-to-head in the regular season. The Devils took 2 out of the 3. They won 6-2 in Ottawa and 4-3 in Ottawa. And then you have the Senators, who won 5-2 in New Jersey, as they took 1 out of the 3 games in this matchup. So a few trends that we see last year. The road team had won each of the matchups between these 2 last year. And then we also saw 7 goals or more in all 3 matchups as well. And then so far this year, the Devils are 4-2-0. They've picked up 8 points in 6 games and have a +6 goal difference. They're 2-1 away on the road, with their 2 wins coming against Buffalo and Prague, and a loss to the Carolina Hurricanes most recently. And then on the Ottawa Senators side, they are 2-1-0 with 4 points in 3 games and a 0 goal difference. They're currently sitting at 2-0 at home with pretty impressive wins over the Los Angeles Kings and Florida Panthers. But for me, I like the Devils to bounce back on the road here after losing to Carolina. Jersey did take this season series 2 out of the 3 games last year, as mentioned, and the road team had won every single game in this matchup. Now you consider Jacob Markstrom will probably be starting in goal, and with the Devils being as talented as they are, I really like to back them here on a bounce back spot after losing in Carolina. I don't think the Senators are as good as what we're seeing. So yeah, I like that quite a bit. I'm taking the Devils money line. And I'm also parlaying that with Jack Hughes to record 2 shots on goal. And you can get that parlay at -105 on Bet365. I'm putting half a unit on it because for me, I think that Hughes 2 shots on goal is definitely hitting. And then it depends on what side you're on. Like if you're on the Devils money line, then instead of taking a -120 or -130 number, it helps to kind of increase that the odds a little bit, more in our favor to get back what we're investing. And then if you're on the Senators side, I would do the same thing, but I would take the Sens money line and parlay that up with Brady Tkachuk, 2 shots on goal. Jack and Brady both got 2 shots on goal in all 3 of their head-to-head matchups between these 2 teams last year. So a really nice way of increasing your odds and kind of getting a better ROI. For whichever side that you choose to take. But for me, I'll be taking the Devils money line and parlaying that up with Jack Hughes to record 2 shots on goal for half a unit at -105 on Bet365. Next up, we're going to Tampa, Florida, where the Vegas Golden Knights are in town to play the Tampa Bay Lightning in what should be a really fun matchup. In the head-to-head meetings between these 2 teams last year, the Lightning won both matchups 5-4 at home and 5-3 in Las Vegas. So far this year, Tampa is 2-0-0 with 4-1 wins against the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vancouver Canucks, 2 pretty solid opponents. And then the Las Vegas Golden Knights are 3-1-0 with their 1 loss coming on the road against the Washington Capitals most recently. And prior to that, Vegas started the season 3-0 at home. They were scorching hot to start the season on that homestand. And Vegas currently has a +5 goal difference in 4 games. Tampa Bay is +6 in terms of their goal difference in only 2 games. So in both the head-to-head matchups last year, Tampa Bay did have Andrei Vasilevskiy in goal, and Vegas started Adin Hill and Yuri Patera in the 2 games. I just wanted to check that out because 5-4 and 5-3 scorelines makes me think right away, was Vasilevskiy in goal last year or did something else happen? And based on the data, it was Vasi in net. So Vegas has shown us, at least last year, that they can solve that Vasilevskiy puzzle and score goals on him. It's just Tampa is outscoring them every time. So I like 2 things here. I like Tampa to stay hot at home. I know both of these teams lost, big names in the offseason with Steven Stamkos and Mikhail Sergachev leaving Tampa Bay. And then you have Las Vegas losing guys like Jonathan Marchessault, Logan Thompson, amongst other depth players. But I think Vegas, their hot start will continue to see some regression to the mean. Like as mentioned in the futures video, I think that Vegas is a solid team, but I have them under 100 points this year. I think their forward group really isn't as impressive anymore. They've got William Karlsson injured. Victor Olofsson is now day-to-day. And after Jack Eichel, Ivan Barbashev, and Tomas Hertl. And by the way, Tomas Hertl is off to a very, very slow start this year. Who else do they have? They have maybe Mark Stone. They have Nick Waugh. But I don't like that. After that, it really just dies down. They've been relying on Victor Olofsson quite a bit early this year. So they don't have much offensive depth. And then on the Tampa side, sure, you've lost Steven Stamkos. But you've brought in Jake Gensel. And you have Kucherov, Gensel, you have Braden Point, you have Brandon Hagel, you have Cirelli, Cernak, Paul, even Asimont isn't bad. Like their forward depth is much, much better than Vegas's right now. And on the back end, you've got Victor Hedman and Andrei Vasilevskiy continuing to carry that defensive core. So I like backing Tampa here quite a bit at home against a traveling Las Vegas Golden Knights team. Give me Tampa on the money line, half a unit, -135 on DraftKings. And then I'm also playing a half unit on the over of 6 goals because Tampa has already scored 4 goals this year against Carolina and Vancouver. They're only giving up 1 against in each year. So the under has hit in both of Tampa's games. But we just saw in the data that Las Vegas can easily score on Vasilevsky. It's just Tampa continues to outscore Las Vegas. So I'm going to just bet on that trend continuing. We saw it in 2 games last year in the head-to-head matchup between these two teams, and we're seeing the same data continue to push into the early days this year. So far, the over of 6 goals has hit in 2 out of 4 Vegas games. It's pushed once, and then it's lost once. Again, also just at 4 or 5 goals. So in both Tampa games, the under 6 has hit just because Carolina and Vancouver, they really struggled to solve that Vasilevsky puzzle. But what we're really saying here is we continue to expect Tampa to beat the Knights just like they did last year, and maybe the Knights pop in, 2 or 3 goals. So 2 plays here, half a unit on Tampa money line at minus 135 on Bet365, and half a unit on the over of 6 goals. And for the last bets, we're heading over to Seattle where the Philadelphia Flyers are in town to play the Seattle Kraken. Last year, Seattle and Philadelphia played each other 2 times head-to-head where they split the season series with both teams winning at home. So we saw the Kraken win 2-1 at home, and we saw the Flyers win 3-2 in Philly. This year, Seattle is 2-0 in 4 games so far. They are 0-1 at home, and they have a +2 goal difference. And on the Philadelphia Flyers side, they're 1-1 to start the season in 3 games so far this year. All 3 of those games have been played on the road, and they are currently sitting at a -3 goal difference. So the Flyers, they're on a 2-game losing streak. As we saw last year, the home team does tend to take the matchup between these 2 teams. The Flyers do have the Mishkov hype, but we just saw that they lost to the struggling Edmonton Oilers after starting 2-0 in the first period. They blew that lead on the road. So I think Seattle has improved quite a bit this offseason, more so than Philly has. I like Seattle's forward depth. They can roll out 3 good lines, and on the back end they're much improved. Brandon Montour has made a huge difference to the Kraken, and they've got Dunn back there. They've got Larson, and it is showing that Philip Grubauer is expected to start, which admittedly I don't love too much. I'm hoping that Joey Decord starts instead. But I just can't see the Seattle Kraken, not this version of the Seattle Kraken, starting 0-2 at home here. I think the Flyers, they're going to slowly get fatigued as they continue to play on the road. They're already on a 3-game road streak. This is going to be their 4th game in a row on the road. So I'm on the Kraken money line here. I'm backing that trend of the home team continuing to win. And on top of that, Seattle's much improved. They're at home. Give me the Kraken money line, half a unit at minus 135 on Bet365. And then also, I'm taking Brandon Montour over 2.5 shots on goal for half a unit at minus 105 on Bet365 as well. They've got that player prop up nice and early. So if you can find that Montour over 2.5 shots on goal on other books as well, I would play that ASAP. Honestly, I like this bet so much that if this was, mid-season, I would probably put 1.5 or 2 units on it. Montour is just racking up the shots on goal like crazy this year. It looks like Seattle clearly has given him a role where he's free to roam and make an offensive impact, just like he did in his breakout season in Florida prior to Florida's Cup winning year. Give me that Montour shot prop all day over 2.5 shots on goal. Montour has cleared this line in all of Seattle's games so far this year. I think in the last game against Nashville, he put like 2 shots on goal in the same shift, and then he got that third one. It was taken back. I think it got a deflection or maybe just missed, so the NHL dropped it down to 2. And then once again, he got a third shot either later in the second or early in the third period. Prior to that, he's putting up like 4-5 shots on goal. So Montour is just firing away. And I plan on continuing to play that shot prop for Brandon Montour until he doesn't hit. Because if the lines are not moving, give me that shot prop all day until it does not hit. Brandon Montour over 2.5 shots on goal. Seattle Kraken money line at minus 135. Both of those plays are half a unit on Bet365. And there you have it, guys. 5 bets in total. You got a couple of money lines, a few totals, and a player prop that I like quite a bit. Keep an eye out on the pinned comments and on the Discord for any added plays. I do tend to put out some same game parlays that have a lot of player prop shot totals as those player props continue to roll out in the morning. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in tailing. And once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment whether you're tailing, whether you're fading, or whether you're using this information to make your own bets. We really do appreciate the support. And once again, don't forget to go check out Steven's baseball and football videos for Thursday night. We've got a nice doubleheader, ALCS and NLCS style, and we've got Sean Payton visiting the New Orleans Saints. And I will catch you for the next one.